I, 19F, study drama at uni, and my boyfriend is on the same course. My boyfriend is a really good-looking guy, but he doesn't seem to know it. He gets a lot of attention from girls and for the most part, doesn't seem to get that they're flirting with him. I'm not generally annoyed by this, and never really say anything. However, there's one girl in our class, let's call her Victoria, who is obsessed with my boyfriend. She goes out of her way to be paired with him in group activities. For example, if the professor picks groups by numbering us 1, 2, 3, she will move herself to be in the same number as him, and she recently stepped down from a main role in a play we're doing so she could be in a more minor one, simply because this character has a romance with my boyfriend. I know this is the case, because I've heard her say to her friends that she thinks he's hot and whatnot. I've never said anything to her about it, because she seems pretty insecure, always complaining about how she thinks she's ugly, and I don't see it as a big deal because my boyfriend doesn't care. However, we recently performed the play and had a small afterparty where she got slightly drunk and was bragging about how she definitely felt something when they kissed in the play and she's going to ask him if he felt the same. I rolled my eyes and again ignored it, until she actually went up to my boyfriend. She was a little bit drunk, and when she went up to him I was there too. Victoria started saying that she knows he must have felt a spark, he's a really good kisser, etc. I snapped, and sort of shouted at her that you sound incredibly desperate, going after somebody else's boyfriend. You're pathetic if you think a stage kiss means you should be together. She looked super embarrassed and walked away, and I later heard she'd gone home crying. I feel like a dick because she's obviously insecure and whatnot, and her friends haven't stopped calling me a bitch since. AITA. Edit, she 100% knows that I am his girlfriend. I have heard her talking about me being his girlfriend before. NTA. I'd even call this sexual harassment. It's incredibly creepy that she specifically went after this minor role just to kiss Arp's boyfriend. What if she goes on to do this to her coworkers in the future? Yuck. I guess the nicer way to address her would have been, "So hey, I'm sure you didn't mean to, but you're being a kind of a sleazy creep and making your fellow cast members very uncomfortable and completely ignoring normal boundaries. I just wanted to let you know, and also that's my boyfriend in case you weren't aware of that either." Okay, thanks. She's lucky she didn't get a two-piece to the face and went home crying instead of bleeding. But I'm glad you aren't an extremely jealous person and hit her with words but to go up to him in front of you. Girl NTA. One of my, 29M, best friends Carla, 31F, is getting married soon. It's only meant to be a small backyard type of wedding but they've been planning it for a few months now and originally it was supposed to be on my property. They wanted it because it's private, has lots of open space for the reception, a nice view and the house could be used for them to get ready and stuff. Of course I said yes, she and her fiancé Rick were very happy. Thing is Carla and I do have a history. We went out on and off in college but decided to stay friends. Then I met my wife, we got married, Carla met Rick and now here they are. Now my wife knows I went out with Carla back in college and she didn't care. Carla still went to our wedding and everything. I never knew if Rick was told or not, it's not my relationship therefore not my business to say anything so I never did. Rick found out recently and not in the best way. Not sure how but from what I heard from friends is that one mutual friend told him, no idea why, we used to date. Not only that but apparently Carla said a couple years ago she was still in love with me when she was already dating Rick. Don't have actual confirmation if that's exactly what he was told. All Carla's told me is that Rick was told about our past and is angry at her for never saying anything. It became quite a drama and didn't hear from her for over a month until now. She told me they're going to couples counseling and that the wedding is still on. But Rick requested that I not attend. It sucks but I totally get why he wouldn't be comfortable. Then I asked the obvious question, where are they going to hold the wedding then? To my surprise she said they still want it at our place. Rick said so too and in my mind I'm going he doesn't want the guy who dated his fiancée years ago at the wedding, but still wants the wedding at his house. My wife and I are expected to just not be at our home that weekend, and I told Carla no. They're going to have to find someplace else since we're not going to simply leave our home to them for the weekend. Not only for safety reasons, but it just doesn't make sense. Rick doesn't want me around because he's not comfortable but is comfortable enough to have their wedding at my house. They really want their wedding here though, and because of that I've been bugged by not only her but also Rick and some friends who think I'm being a petty asshole for not letting them have the wedding here anymore. Honestly, don't think that I am. It just doesn't make sense at all to have to leave our own place for a wedding we're no longer welcome to and leaving our home totally vulnerable. Still, being accused of sabotaging their wedding, and Rick believes it's the least I can do after everything. AITA. Rick doesn't want to get married anymore but doesn't want to be the bad guy breaking up with his fiancée, so he's put her in an impossible position so he can get the sympathy when they split. NTA. Rick believes it's the least I can do after everything. Rick is sick if he thinks A, his fiancée never dated anyone before him, B, she didn't stay friends with old boyfriend, C, he can get someone's home as a wedding venue while not allowing the owners to attend the wedding. You are under no obligation to provide a free wedding venue to these people under these circumstances because you have not, in fact, done anything wrong. I pity Carla if she marries the guy. NTA. I recently won a fuck you amount of money. I won't say exactly how much but it's in the millions. It makes me feel funny even typing it's enough to change the life of myself and my family. My ex-wife is the mother of my 2 kids. She is an amazing woman and good to the bone. We divorced 6 years ago because I had an affair with my current partner. I was in a low place in my life and I fucked up. She was in incredible pain but like a fucking saint she allowed me to still see our kids who mean the world to me, allowed our divorce to be as pain-free as possible despite the fact that I know she was hurting. She still is close with my parents. She is respectful to me although she refuses to talk to my GF. She was actually the first person I phoned after my mom and pops after I found out I won the lottery. She was pleased for me, joked that I could take the kids on a world round trip, and that was that. Nothing else. As soon as I won, I knew I wanted to give her a significant amount. I still love her. She's the mother of my babies and I feel like this is some small tiny way I can show her that I'm not a complete fuck up. She deserves to know that I care despite my mistakes. She also works a shitty job in the public library which pays her peanuts. She would actually be able to pursue her hobbies this way. Give our kids a better life between us. I haven't discussed this with my ex yet, but I have with my parents who strongly agree and my lawyer who was very surprised but on board. Long story short, when I told my GF, she was livid. Screaming that I'm disrespecting her, accusing me of still being in love with my ex-wife. I'm not in love with her. We've both grown apart, but of course I still love her for being an excellent co-parenting partner and mother to my kids. My GF is threatening to break up with me, and TBH I'm feeling incredibly relieved over the threats. I don't plan on changing my plans, but AITA. NTA if you intended for the money to help out her and your kids. If you only intended to give it to her because you love your ex-wife then you're a bit of an asshole, ESH, for making your current girlfriend a plan B. The way she reacted was a little over the top, but to be expected since you are giving money to another woman that you used to be married to. Otherwise, you do have kids to provide for and it's none of her business because you're not married and you don't share the money. Just a question, did she know you had a wife when you had an affair with her? Because if she did then the whole disrespecting her is a load of bullshit because she did the same thing to your ex-wife. She did know I was married to my wife, yes. I agree that her claiming disrespect is bullshit because we both engaged in very disrespectful behavior towards my ex-wife. The money is being given with the full intention that ex-wife did me right over these years and I want to do right by her too. She's the mother of my kids and she also deserves a good life. I also want the kids to grow up in 2 wonderful environments instead of dad having a nice place and mom's place being comparatively bereft. I don't think that would be fair. I don't believe you're the asshole. I've imagined the same thing if I had a windfall. I don't love my ex-wife by any means, but she is the mother of my children. I'm thankful that we're amicable. I would be careful pursuing anything with the current GF. Like they say, if they cheat with you, they'll cheat on you. Also, if she can't understand why you'd want to give your ex money, that's her problem to deal with. I would hope she wouldn't be so insecure.